Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of my live channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the film titled Five Fingers For Marseilles. I went to watch it a few days ago. Shout out to the people at Copper Monkey for making that possible, and also there will be a competition before the end of this video, so just stay tuned so you can find out how you can win yourself once again a ticket to go see this movie in theaters. So Five Fingers For Marseilles is a South African Western style film which is set in a fictional town of Marseille during apartheid South Africa. Well, at least that's where it starts off. So this film is written by Damini and directed by Michael Matthews. It stars Hamilton Damini, Dabula, Kenneth Ngosi, Lauren Masimola, Duduzi Mabaso, Zethu Lomo. It's actually a highly decorated cast. So before we get into it, I just want to quickly get this out of the way, is the fact that at first when I first came across this movie, the concept of a South African Western film felt a bit too ambitious to me. Like, I felt like, really, is that necessary? And I would just want to say, after watching the movie a few days in retrospect, actually, when I was just looking back, and I was like, what I thought was actually going to be the movie's greatest weakness was actually not even a weak point at all. It didn't even feel like they copied and lifted the shot and the Western genre and just maybe inserted a South African cast and a South African narrative. It actually felt organic. If anything, it helped the movie. It's a very stylistic movie and I liked it. So this movie is about a guy by the name of Dao, who's played by Dabula, and he is part of a group of other guys, and they call themselves the Five Fingers For Marseilles. And he basically murders two cops, by the way, when he was still young. This is during apartheid South Africa, and he has to flee the town, and he comes back fast forward 20 years later, and there's a new boss in town. Alright, so what did I like about this film? Straight out the gate, the cinematography. It was stunning. Like, the guy behind the camera, the DP, I think his name is Sean Lee, hats off to you, my guy. You did an excellent job with the cinematography, and in its being stunning, I think it also managed to show us, especially me, how beautiful our country is. Like, South Africa is beautiful. The landscape shots, it's just amazing. That, in my opinion, was the movie's strongest points. If they were to win an award for anything, without even thinking twice, it would be the cinematography. And also in its being stunning, the cinematography was used in a very spectacular way, which is something I admire. Managing to capture and set a mood, and also be able to capture emotions and convey them obviously back to us in a way that is something makes it easier for us to understand and easier for us to relate in terms of what's going on. Because as much as there is dialogue in this movie, there's not a whole lot of dialogue, and many things are communicated simply through the lens. What else did I like about this film? This guy, the character of Hamilton Damini. I'm not even going to go into how great of an actor Hamilton Damini is, because I'm pretty sure after the SAFTAs and having known him for so long, we probably have an idea of the fact that he's a very, very good actor. So that will speak for itself. I'm going to talk about the character specifically in this film that he plays, which is the antagonist by the name of Siboko, also known as the Ghost in English. And my god, this guy is menacing. Like, he sends chills down my spines every time I see him, and I get so excited when I would see him on the screen, because even how he is designed, how the character is written and designed, is pretty amazing. It has led me to conclude that this might be the greatest, this was almost the greatest South African villain we've seen on our screen probably ever. And I say almost, I'll give you the reason why I say that in a bit, but the way that they wrote this character and the way that Hamilton Damini, performs is nothing like we've seen on screen in a very long while, and I really, really, really admire that. And another thing, they gave my guy a grill, a bottom gold grill. You can't do better than that. Still on the acting and still on Hamilton Damini, I would like to know the process before he actually, in preparation to play this character. I'd really like to have an opportunity to actually sit down and interview. He really, really immersed himself in this character. He is this character. Still on the acting is, from the people who've seen the film and what they have to say about the film, I feel like there's a very underrated actor here who wasn't touched on, and I don't know why this is, but when I saw him, I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this. The character played by Duduzi Mabaso, aka Suffocate from Rhythm City. Yeah, he plays the character of Luyanda, aka Cockroach. And my god, another guy who was just like, I seriously honestly just want to find out, like, guys, how did you prepare for these roles? Because these roles were pretty intense and pretty stunning. Like, they were impressive. They were very impressive in how they actually carried out these roles. We've always known Mduduzi Mabaso as Suffocate. At least I have. I've seen him in other things, but I've known him mostly as Suffocate. And once you see a person be a certain character for so long, it's kind of hard to shake yourself from him being that person. But when I saw him in this film as Cockroach, I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know this guy is, and I don't know why nobody else is talking about this guy and how amazing he was in the movie. And then there was Warren Masemola, which is, I mean, come on, we already know that guy is gonna kill it. And he brought a whole lot of comedy, unexpected comedy to the film, and I really admired that. Alright, so those are the things that I really loved and enjoyed about the movie, and I felt like were the strongest, not the only strong points, but the strongest points of the film, and I really enjoyed. And I'm just now gonna move over to the side of things I probably didn't get or didn't like in general. Alright, so the first thing I didn't really like about the film is the general pacing of the film. It dragged and for me, I felt like really acted against the film, if anything. And you might notice that I haven't really touched on the story, whether I like the story or not, and I feel like it's mostly affected by the pacing itself. The story itself is affected by the mere fact that the movie wasn't paced well, and ultimately it kind of trips over itself. Another thing I didn't really like was how the movie didn't do a great job of establishing motives, more specifically with the antagonist and the protagonist, the character of Hamilton Damini, the ghost. You're like, okay, cool shots, cool everything, action, suspense, thriller and everything, but why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Great performance and everything, but why are you so bent over this? Same thing happens with the character of Dao. Like, okay, he leaves the town of Marseille for 20 years and then he comes back. Why? You kind of have an idea, but as you grasp the idea, it kind of changes at the same time. You're like, okay, I thought this is why you came back. I was assuming this is why you came back, but I don't really think that's the reason anymore. Maybe it flew over my head. That could be a possibility, but they didn't really do a great job at establishing motives and intentions and what is driving these characters to do what they're doing and eventually go toe to toe against each other. That's why when I mentioned earlier on that Hamilton Damini was almost the greatest South African villain ever. The reason why he's almost and he's not actually the greatest villain of South Africa ever, because for me, I couldn't understand that. Like, why are you doing what you are doing? By the way, look out for that video. It's coming very soon. Top 20 list of the greatest South African villains of all time. Keep an eye out for that. Another thing that I didn't really like about this movie was there were a great deal of unnecessary characters. There was a white character there. As much as he brought much needed comedy and levity and humor to the entire film, apart from that, I felt like, okay, but why? Why is the character necessary for this film? There was also another character, a Chinese character by the name of Wei and his son, and you'd ask yourself, like, okay, why? Once again, where are we going with these characters? At the end, they kind of gave you an idea of, okay, this is why these characters have been, because they're introduced earlier on in the film, but you're like, no, not really. It wasn't really necessary for this film. There's another character, I think it was a Black American character, and once again you're like, where are we going? Why? I found myself asking that question a whole lot during the movie. I haven't asked myself that question even after the movie. I formulated an answer. This movie did seem like it was going for certain political issues and social issues, and as much as that is very admirable, but it wasn't really necessary for this film. And it was going for also angles of inclusion, and that eventually kind of like, okay, I get why there was such a diverse cast, Black, Chinese, white, colored, Black American, but once again, it wasn't really necessary for this movie. If anything, these things ended up being what weighed the movie down and actually being the weakest points of the movie. Alright, so in closing, the movie was very much enjoyable. It kept me on my feet, like trying to figure out what's gonna happen next. It was very enjoyable. Would I recommend it? Definitely. This is a movie you have to watch. It's a movie I'm actually gonna watch again, mostly because I enjoyed it the first time, but also because of the things I feel like kind of flew over my head. I'm really interested in, like, what did I miss the first time and what did I really not get? Please go out in your numbers to go see this movie, guys. Also, most important thing about this entire video is, what do you think if you've had the opportunity to see it? If not, the movie is coming out on the 6th of April. Please go check it out and come back and tell me what do you think about the movie. Even before seeing it, having seen the trailers Are you going to see the movie? Are you planning on seeing the movie? Are you excited? Also, competition, once again, very easy, the same as the first competition. Just comment down below on why would you want to see the movie. You'll be entered into a lucky draw. You can also use other channels as a means of having more entries. You can use my Twitter at Live. You can use my Instagram now@imax, and contact me on Facebook. All of these other things, if you share this video on all of those other platforms, those are additional entries. In total, you can have 4 entries, and then you'll be entered into the lucky draw to win the tickets to go see this movie. Basically, I really enjoyed this film. I liked it apart from those few things here and there. I would definitely recommend this movie. Go see it, go check it out. Once again, if you liked what you saw here, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. And as always, guys, I will see you on the next video.